Hey, Black Belt News Network, it's Todd. I'm sitting next to Colonel David Mollahan, president of Marion Military Institute. And Colonel, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I
Yeah.
know how busy you are, but and taking a little time out of out of your day to sit with me is very much appreciated. So I wanted to first of all start with a little bit about yourself and your history. I know you're a Marine colonel. So how did you get into the Marines and then get to being the president of Marion Military Institute here in Marion?
Okay, well, the first thing to know is I'm not from these parts.
Right.
I'm not even from Alabama. I'm actually
Oh.
from the state of Oregon,
Oh, wow, okay.
a small town in eastern Oregon right on the Snake River, border of Oregon
yeah.
and Idaho. I went to Oregon State University through a Naval ROTC scholarship, which is how I got my commission into the Marine Corps.
Wow.
When I got my commission, I went on to flight school and became a pilot, a helicopter pilot. So I spent most of my 30 years in the Marine Corps in helicopter aviation. Did kind of a normal tour, I guess you'd say. I had a number of tours in squadrons and aviation units. I had some out-of-cockpit tours. I went to professional military colleges and so forth over that time. But my last 2 years on active duty, I had the opportunity to serve at the United States Naval Academy.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, so I was wore a couple of different hats. One of them, I was the senior Marine there. We have a number of Marines that are assigned to
Right.
the Naval Academy, as there are obviously Navy officers. But I was the senior Marine for all of those Marines that were assigned there. I was also a division director of the Humanities and Social Sciences Division. But really, the thing that got me here was I spent a year as the chairman of the admissions board at the Naval Academy.
Oh,
And during my time on the admissions board, I learned about these programs that places like Marion Military Institute has to support the academies to provide opportunities for prospects to get their appointment into one of the academies by going through a school like us first. And
oh,
so I learned about Marion Military Institute. There's
Right.
other schools around the country that do that also, but I learned about Marion Military Institute. And as it happens, my last year on active duty, as I was starting to look towards my 30-year retirement, some folks on the staff at Naval Academy who were familiar with the leadership down here at Marion Military Institute at the time said, "Hey, the president down there is about to leave. We know you're getting ready to retire. Maybe this is something you may be interested in." And they got me interested, and
Cool.
I started doing the research, put in an application, came down here in the summer, just literally the next day after I had officially retired. Went through several interviews. At that time, it was a pretty elaborate interview process because we are part of the Alabama Community College system. So this is a state school. I'm a state employee. This position is a state position.
Wow, okay.
So I went to interviews here on campus, interviews in Montgomery, and about 10 days later was told I was the selectee and that they offered me the position, and that was in 2009, and I arrived here in Marion officially on the 1st of August 2009. So that's
Wow.
kind of how it all unfolded.
That's fantastic. And I mean, you've had a really storied career being a pilot and everything. So, what are some of the aircraft that you flew?
Well, mostly, almost all helicopters. So I flew a medium lift helicopter. I flew a heavy lift helicopter. I've got some time in the gunships. Got some time in the MV-22. But I was a medium lift helicopter pilot, so I spent most of my time doing that. So I got a little over 4,000 hours total flight time in the military.
That's amazing. So, once you got here, how did you find Marion Military Institute? Were there any things that you saw needed to be changed immediately? Because I know that you've done some of that, and we're going to get to that. But what was your first impression and things that you thought, I need to do this now?
Well, let me first say this. What really I was impressed with, and quite frankly, I never thought about this till I was at the Naval Academy, is the power of having higher education embedded inside a military environment. I saw that at the Naval Academy. I mean, that's what the Naval Academy, that's what all the service academies provide. It's a military environment. All the cadets or midshipmen are part of that environment, but they're getting this education while they're there. And so, when I got down here, I realized that was not unlike what I saw at the academy.
Oh, really?
It's a military environment. Cadets are in military uniforms. All of them are in military uniforms. They go to formation. They have rank. They're held to certain standards that you'd see in the military. So it was very similar in that regard. And they're here to get their freshman and sophomore year of college.
Right.
And so I thought that was very impressive. And I always thought about how can we make it better in terms of the leadership development that is done kind of co-curricular outside the classroom,
yeah.
much like we saw at the Naval Academy. So the first two things I thought about, that was the first one. How do we make the leadership development, the character development elements that we do here better? But the other thing, we have a lot of really old facilities.
Yes, yeah.
So the school's been around a long time.
Right.
These facilities have been around a long time. We have a lot of accumulated deferred maintenance in many of the facilities. And so really one of the first things I really wanted to think about is how do we get resources to do something about this deferred maintenance. At that time when I came in, the Great Recession was just finishing up. We were dealing with the challenges of proration about every few months, and so we didn't have a lot of state resources to do that at that time. And so that forced us into thinking about fundraising and a capital campaign. And so we put together a strategic plan, and part of it was focused on this. We had a capital campaign in which all the money we raised went back to do these things. And so over the course of the first 5 years or so, a lot of my time was spent investing back in the college in terms of improving our facilities, whether they were the barracks or the classrooms or athletic facilities and so on. But at the same time, looking at how we improve that leadership skills development, character development.
Right.
And then the other thing began to occur as we thought about it was the fact that, although we have a lot of military programs here, roughly half of our students, our cadets, are not going to go into the military, do military things.
Oh.
So what else could they do? And what else should we have so we aren't just depending a lot on some of these military programs?
Right.
And so it occurred to me and to us as we talked about it that one career field that has a lot in common with the military that we may be able to do something about is the first responder career field.
Yeah.
So firefighting,
Right,
EMT,
right.
law enforcement. So it was during this time that we were starting to develop sort of the nascent programs that we have now that help students get an opportunity to get certified to be firefighters, to go on to become EMTs, and potentially law enforcement officers.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
So that's kind of how that
Right.
evolved about the first 5 to 7 to 8 years, kind of how what we were really focused on and what we were working on.
And you're talking about that. So that's for students who decide to have a career in civilian life, although military related, obviously. But then I want to step back just a minute about how the students that decide to become military. You say this feeds into the military academy system. How does that work?
Well, there's several pieces of the military programs that we have. The first one, the Service Academy program that you're talking about. We have a prescribed set of courses that each of the service academies require students who are interested in going up there have to take. A certain chemistry, physics, certain math, certain English, certain
Right.
humanities and social science courses or whatever. So we make sure that we provide those courses specific to that academy for those cadets that may be
Right.
interested in whether it's West Point or the Naval Academy, Air Force, what have you. We also monitor them in terms of their physical fitness requirements to make sure they're passing all their physical fitness exams and so forth. And we designate certain staff members to sort of be the sponsor, if you will, or the advisor for each of those service academies and those unique requirements. We have everything that is needed here in terms of academic support, academic course curriculum, and physical fitness training capabilities to help those students meet all the requirements of that service academy. And then while they're there, we can keep in close contact with the service academy that cadet may be interested in to keep them apprised of how they're progressing. And usually somewhere around February, the early part of the spring semester, they'll start getting notification from the academies of whether or not they've been offered an appointment. The other one is really, really unique. It's called the Early Commissioning Program. We host a Senior Army ROTC detachment here at MMI. We've had one here since 1916.
Oh, wow. 1916.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so if you don't know, senior ROTC detachments of any service normally only exist in four-year colleges. And the
Oh, I
reason
did not
why
know
that
that.
is because their responsibility is to commission officers into whatever service that ROTC program is aligned with.
I
So
see.
whether it's Army or Navy or Air Force.
Right.
And so what's unique here is we have an early commissioning program and we host a senior ROTC detachment as a two-year college. And there's only 4 military junior colleges in the United States. We are one of them, and we are the only two-year colleges in the entire country that have an early commissioning program.
I'll be darned. That's awesome.
Yeah, so cadets will come here, they'll get enrolled into this program, if they meet all the academic requirements, do all the training they're required to do, pass the physical fitness exams and all these things. At the end of 2 years, not 4, at the end of 2 years with an associate degree from MMI, they'll be commissioned as a second lieutenant in the National Guard or the Reserves.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I did not realize that.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of people don't
Yeah,
realize
no, they don't. They don't know that. Then the requirement is they transfer to their 4-year school that has an ROTC program,
Right.
and they complete their bachelor's degree, and then they continue on. They can stay in the Guard or the Reserve, or if they want to compete to go on active duty, they can do that. But they've been commissioned as a second lieutenant after 2 years in an associate's degree.
That's skipping a lot of steps to get to that
Yeah.
point in it. That's amazing.
Yeah, but they keep them hopping. It's an
Yeah.
it's an accelerated course. They have to have some prerequisites, and they have to go to camps and things to accelerate all that. But they are second lieutenants at that point in time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And one thing to understand is that these cadets are not in the Army, Navy, or when they're in school here. They are training to become that potential.
Right. Yeah. They're cadets. They're college students.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
we call them cadets. The Navy calls them midshipmen. Naval Academy calls them midshipmen. Army calls
Mm-hmm.
them cadets. It's the same idea. But they're still cadets because we aren't the military, but we provide this military environment for all the
Right.
reasons that I talked about in terms of learning about military protocols and standards and providing an opportunity for leadership and character development. That's what that environment is all about. So those are those two, but we also have opportunities if students are trying to get into the Marine Corps PLC program, which is an officer program. We have an Air Force ROTC arrangement with the detachment over in Alabama, and we have a Naval ROTC arrangement also. So
Wow.
those are all sort of the military programs.
Right.
So you take those aside, then you have the firefighting, EMT, and law enforcement. Both those programs we're starting to really formalize, so at some point we'll have associate of applied science degrees. But we have one more that I do want to mention that I didn't
Sure.
mention that we've had since we've gotten here, and that's a civil aviation program.
Oh, really?
So we provide opportunities for cadets to get flight lessons while they're at MMI. Right now, we're working with a contractor that works out of Craig Field over in Selma,
Yeah, that's right.
Resicum. You probably know
Yes,
them. You
yes.
remember them?
I've interviewed those folks many times.
Yeah.
V? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So we've had this going on since I've got here. All the flight lessons up until recently have been all out at Vaden Field, which is just to the south of here,
Yeah.
very convenient, about 8 miles away. And so all the cadets, for the most part, that have been taking flight lessons over these years have been those that are interested in military aviation.
Oh, okay.
And so they take these lessons to get some aviation orientation.
Right.
Maybe they get to a solo. Maybe they go as far as a private license, but it makes them more competitive to get selected for military aviation in whatever
Right.
service they're going to. So, but this is one of those ones that, as we talked about, and we talked about this early on too when we were thinking about first responder, is how can we contribute to the shortfall in civil aviation pilots in this country?
Mm-hmm.
And so is there any way we could take this program we have right now, which is an extracurricular program, and at some point turning it into an actual workforce program to send cadets that go through MMI, get their degree, get all their training completed, and then continue on into the
Right.
civil aviation workforce from here. And so that's what we're in the process of doing now, is to formalize a civil aviation program. The first step that we got into place was an arrangement right now, a transfer arrangement we have at Auburn. Auburn has a real strong aviation program.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
And so we just recently signed an agreement between Auburn and MMI. So cadets that
Excellent.
come to MMI, they graduate, get their degree, they get a 2.5 GPA, they get their pilot's license while they're here. They transfer to Auburn, and they can continue on into that bachelor's program that they have over in Auburn.
That's a great program. I understand.
Yeah, it is. They're a real strong program. So a wide range of things, as you can
Yeah.
see, that we have here. And then still, even without all that, we still have cadets that will come here in a more traditional sense. They want to start their first 2 years of college in a smaller class environment.
Right, right.
They want to improve their academic standing. They want to sort of prepare themselves for the 4-year college, but they come to a 2-year college to get their start. It's a lot more cost effective.
Exactly. Yes.
They get the same courses they would get their freshman and sophomore year at the 4-year schools. It just doesn't cost as much. And they're in an environment where they get a lot more personal attention and a lot more opportunity to
That's
be
a
successful.
key, really a very advantageous situation
Yeah.
for especially students like myself who weren't the best of students.
Right.
Having a little more one-on-one like that can help bolster your grades a bit.
Right,
You know,
right.
so that's excellent. And just stepping back to the flight, How did the AIM High, because I know y'all had a number of cadets that graduated from AIM High this past summer over at Craigfield. How is that part of the curriculum, or is that an extra thing?
Well, it's an extra thing that we support and we
see.
host because we have the connections to the training provider.
Right.
We also actually, the first time we had done this, we actually housed all the participants in the AIM High Flight Academy. They went over 2 sessions, about 3 weeks per session, right here on campus in our barracks. This last time they housed them over in Selma, but we were still there to monitor them, to provide support to them. Yeah. We had several of them that were part of this last summer's AIM High Flight Academy that came right to MMI from there.
Oh, great.
That are interested in the Air Force Academy. So they completed all the flight training they needed to do over there. So we hope this keeps going.
That's a great symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, because we do have a good opportunity for young people to get these flight lessons taken care of, but we also have this opportunity for them to get exposed to MMI and in the Air Force sponsored. Yeah. We're trying to get those interested in the Air Force Academy to consider going through to AMMI when they complete their training with this AIM High Flight Academy.
One of the things I'm finding amazing about what you have created here on campus since you've been here is a wide diversity of opportunities for both potential military and civilian. What do you've recently started some new construction on campus, and I believe that the dining hall was the first in 30 some odd years. Tell us a little bit about where you're going from here and what your plans for the future of MMI.
Okay, well, as far as the facilities go, what's begun to happen over the last 5 to 7 years, I guess I'd say, is we've been able to get a lot of support from the state of Alabama. The state has really done a lot, and this isn't just for MMI, this is for the entire Alabama community college system, and let's remember, we're a part of that system.
Right, exactly.
So a lot of supplemental funding in the legislative process the last several years, and we've gotten nice slices of those things to help us with these facilities. So some of the deferred maintenance we were using donated money to take care of, we've been able to use state money to take care of. So one of the things we're trying to do is make sure that all these buildings, and a lot of things working right now is interior renovation, roof replacements, is to put them in a state of condition that's going to be good for the next 50 years.
Right.
So that's one thing. We also were able to get some money to start adding to our campus with some facilities we thought were very important. And one of them you just mentioned was the dining facility. So the dining facility, up until recently, was in the basement of one of our barracks that was built in 1963, and not exactly a place you want to take prospects to go see at that time. So you sort of avoid it. Well, now we were able to get some money thanks to the help of the two-year system and the state of Alabama to build a brand new dining facility, which officially opened, as you recall, in January of 2024. Beautiful facility, about 17,000 square foot facility that includes a special event room and a private dining area. The next thing we were able to do was, and this thanks to the help of former Senator Richard Shelby, was a $35 million federal grant that allows us to do the construction you see right now on the campus, which will be a brand new math and science building. So the next thing we're going after is to create what would be a police and fire training center right across the street with some renovations with some buildings we have across the street now to kind of lend itself to that first responder program that I talked about.
So you have actual dedicated buildings for that program is what you're saying. Oh, that's excellent.
So the math and science building, what that does for us now is it allows us to expand our academic offerings to get more relevant coursework to be able to, we can be able to offer things like, cyber science, IT, computer science. And one of the ones that we're really interested in is how we can expand upon, because we have such a strong math and science program already, is health sciences that could potentially lend itself to a nursing track of some kind or medical science.
That'd be good.
So that's one part. But the other thing that happens is because we have classrooms available, because all these math and science classes will now be in the new building. We'd like to expand our humanities and social sciences offerings also to allow for what I call as a citizenship development component. So we have leadership, character, and citizenship.
Wow.
So offer unique courses in civics,
Yeah.
constitutional history, constitutional
yeah.
law, something ethics, and those sorts
Oh,
of things.
God, yes. That's so necessary right now. Of all time, we
Yeah,
need
that's
that.
we do, and we're not getting much of it in the. When
Public
we were
schools,
growing up, you
yeah.
got civics. We don't really do that
Yeah,
as much
we don't do
anymore.
that
but-
anymore, yeah.
So we really think that's an important part of an education that we're going to provide here. So we'll expand all that. So when you look to the future, you see this academic expansion for STEM. You see an academic
yeah.
expansion for humanities and social sciences. We see a formalization of firefighting, EMT, and law enforcement. In fact, law enforcement piece to the point that we are hoping to be able to get designated as a certifying entity for law enforcement, which would
cool.
which would really be unique.
Yeah, that
and
would be awesome.
And an aviation component that,
Right.
that lends itself to supporting the needs of the civil aviation workforce, particularly with regard to pilot needs.
With all of this development and all of this expansion and new construction, makes me wonder if maybe your student body's not growing a little bit. How are you increasing the number of cadets and students on the campus?
Yeah, we took a hit with COVID, much like the
yeah.
military did. We dumped about a 20%, had about a 20% drop.
Wow.
But we're starting to recover that now as we get these programs that I'm talking about in place, which is the whole idea of it originally, knowing that we're going to have some special opportunities if we want to continue to attract students here. It can't be just all the military stuff all the
Right,
time.
exactly, yeah. Makes sense.
We'll get those anyway. And so we're starting to get traction on some of these programs. Things like what you're doing here right now are really important to us because, as you can see, as you yourself will admit, this is stuff you didn't know.
Exactly.
And if
Which
you
is
didn't-
another reason why I wanted to sit
And
down
if you
with
didn't know it, who else
Right,
doesn't know it?
exactly, exactly, yeah.
And so as we get awareness out there about all the opportunities, the kind of education we provide here, the scope of the education, these opportunities in terms of these programs that I've just talked about with the workforce, and still the military opportunities as well, we are starting to see that traction take hold, and we're getting more interest. We're starting to see applications are starting to come back up.
Good deal.
And if we get back to where we were pre-COVID, we're in a pretty healthy place. And so that's kind of what we're working on right now. So we appreciate opportunities like what you're providing here to help get the word out about everything that we're doing here at MMI.
Well, Black Belt News Network is always wanting to help our communities grow and help promote the good, positive things in the community. And MMI, obviously, for decades, I guess you could actually say century, has been a very positive thing for the Black Belt, for the state as a whole. And personally, coming from a military family, I have in my heart to do things for our military men as much as possible, and women, our military, as much as possible. And now learning how much more in the civilian world that MMI is, because again, I did not realize as much, as you just said. And I think that's another thing these folks that are watching Black Belt News Network need to know, that MMI is here for not just military cadets, but for just about anybody who wants to start in a 2-year college, which this would be a great one. I wish the heck I'd have known about it when I was coming up, because this would have been a perfect place.
Yeah, you think about the demographics. To give you an idea, a very diverse population racially. It kind of represents the country. Actually, a little more diverse even than what you see nationally. We have cadets on average that will be from as many as 46 different states.
Wow.
From 5 U.S. territories and from as many as 54 of the 67 Alabama counties, all coming to this small college in this small little town in the middle of Perry County in the Black Belt.
Do you have any idea what your student enrollment is at this point?
It's sitting about 320.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. So we'd like to be between 400 and 425. That's ideal. That's what we were pre-COVID. That's a comfortable place in terms of the support we can provide. And that's what we're starting. We see applications starting to drift, making their way back up to get back to that. That's kind of what we're working on. But and why these programs are so important is the more people know about them, the more interest they're going to have in what we have going on here. And I think we're going to continue to see that growth get back to where we were.
And it seems like it's a hand-to-hand thing when you have the presentable facilities and the curriculum. Then you're going to not only do better for the students that are here, but you're going to attract more. Before long, you're going to have 1,000+ students around here.
Yeah, we want to be in a place where we have a lot more interest than we can even support because we don't
Yeah.
have enough classroom space, we don't have enough barrack space or whatever. That's kind of where you want to be. That's where I think we're going to end up over time. But the idea of having all these things is great, but if people don't know we have all these things,
Yes, exactly.
then it won't be much good. So awareness, an awareness campaign, we're working on that as well, and things like what you're doing here today are so important to us.
Well, and let us know how we can help in that, because we do want to let everybody know about it. And that's part of our mission as well. So we're here to help with that. How do, if a student is interested in MMI, what do they need to do to get an application, to
Yeah, if they
learn
just-
the campus?
If they just go to our website, start Marion Military Institute, and it comes right up. You click on that, and then all the information you're going to need is going to be on that first page. There's contact information that will direct you to our enrollment office, and you can call them and talk to one of the recruiters, talk about any program you're interested in. We host preview days 4 times a year. We just had one this last Friday, I guess it was. So we'll have 2 in the spring. So our website will talk about when those dates are. That gives students and families an opportunity to get on campus and hear about all the programs and see the campus firsthand.
Right.
We have a lot of opportunities in terms of scholarships, federal financial aid. We're a participant in that, and so we do a lot here to help make the cost of college, which is already relatively low already, just because it is much cheaper here, lower still because of all these financial aid opportunities that we can provide. So there's just a host of things that we're doing here that will make a college experience extremely enriching, provide a lot of unique opportunities to get into a career track, to do it in an environment in which you get a lot of extra help and in the most cost-effective way possible. So I always say that this is a bargain basement, best bang for the buck, extraordinary education. And the question is not why would I come to MMI? It's like, well, why wouldn't I come
Why
to MMI?
wouldn't I? Yeah. And when?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
right.
awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Okay.
I'd love to sit here all day long and talk. I know you're busy, so am I. Thank you for spending this time with me, and
Yeah.
let's make this a more regular thing, and we can do some regular updates and let people know what's going on and the new improvements and things like that.
Okay,
So just
appreciate
let us
it.
know. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Colonel David Mollahan, Marion Military Institute. Thank you, BBNN.